Vladimir Guerrero Jr. was a single shy of the cycle yesterday, and part of me was hoping that the Blue Jays would blow that lead so he could come up and get the chance to do it in the ninth inning, but it wasn't meant to be. They ended up winning the game 7-6 after leading 7-2 heading into the ninth, and Vladdy has been the hottest hitter in baseball. No one has even come close in the past month or so, and Vladdy, he's going to get paid. He's going to get paid big, but is it going to be by the Blue Jays? That's something that we'll discuss on this episode of Jay's Digest, as well as just his overall dominance and how well he has played despite the Blue Jays being out of the playoff race. So we'll have that and much more coming up next. What's up, everybody? Welcome into Jay's Digest. I'm your host, Peter Vryonis, alongside host Nick Gosse. And Nick, Vladdy has been the topic of conversation surrounding the Blue Jays ever since the trade deadline has passed. There haven't been any bright spots to report back to you guys. We're trying to find silver linings as the season winds down here, I should say, and we're really struggling to find anyone besides Vladdy. Maybe Alejandro Kirk really starting to turn the corner ever since Danny Jansen got traded away to the Red Sox, but apart from that, not much to report back to you guys, except for Vladdy, who has been the best hitter in baseball, better than Aaron Judge, better than Bobby Witt Jr. His numbers for the season look fantastic. His numbers for the past 30 games look even better. And this guy just cannot be stopped right now. He hit a home run in front of his pops yesterday. I'm sure he felt really good about that. And Nick, just good vibes for him, and hopefully he can keep this going for the rest of the season and get that OPS over one.
Yeah, there hasn't been, you mentioned it, not many positives this year, but there is at least still a lot of Jays news going around even in the rough season. But let's just dive into it. Yesterday, if you watched the game, at least the Jays games have been a bit more watchable as of late with some of the prospects, Joey Laperfito, all these guys, even though he struggled a little bit. Let's just dive into Vladdy's stats. And there's a lot of stats here. There's the spray chart we'll dive into, but I just want to start with this. And this is a bit of a broader perspective here. So this is since June 16th, so almost 2 months ago. He's put up a Fangraphs WAR. He has an over 1,200 OPS, a 53 home run pace. Like Peter, we'll get into more specifics in the past 15 days, in the past month, but as a whole here, since June 16th, he's put up in 193, so almost 200, basically 200 plate appearances, a 1,200 OPS, and that is a big sample size. That's not a nitpick sample size at this point. That is a pretty hefty sample size, and he's been one of the best hitters in baseball. You look at it since July 14th. He's been by far the best hitter in baseball over the past month, like you mentioned in the intro there. And even though all the talk is about Aaron Judge, Vladdy has been the better hitter since July 14th over the past month or so. And that's not to take anything away from Judge. He's still probably definitely the
No.
best hitter in baseball. But over the past month, Vladdy has skied up these rankings here.
Yeah, and not take nothing away from Aaron Judge. He's going to be the MVP winner in the American League, even though Bobby Witt Jr. is making it a lot closer than some people might think. I don't like to cherry pick stats like this, Nick. I don't like to say, "Oh, since this date he's been the best," but man, he really has been amazing, and you can't understate the impact that he's had. And I got into this discourse yesterday on Twitter. I don't know if you'd call it a discourse because I just replied and then the person didn't get back to me after that. But he basically said, "Oh wow, typical. Vladdy is performing when the team is out of the playoffs. No, 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 no. Whatever. Bunch of noise." And I said, "Well, what do you want him to do? Just stop playing? He's been one of the best hitters in baseball since the month of May." Now, I know he struggled in March and April, and he wasn't good in the first month plus of the season, but the Jays were not out of the race when the calendar turned to May. They were still very much in the thick of things. And Vlad, even though he wasn't hitting the home runs like he is now, his OPS was well over 900 for the month of May, and he was still a very productive hitter. So, yeah, the power's starting to come back in now. But I don't know what the alternative is for him to just stop playing and to play dead because the Blue Jays are out of the playoff race. I don't agree with that whatsoever. So it's great. Whether the Blue Jays are in or out of the playoff race, it's nice to see Vladdy get back to being the hitter that he was in 2021. And this is honestly, I think, a better version of what we saw in 2021. I know those numbers at the end of the year were gaudy, and it's probably not going to reach 48 home runs from now until the end of the season, but that OPS not too far off, and the OPS plus it's 1 point less than it was in that great season that he had where he finished as the runner-up for the MVP award. So take nothing away from Vladdy. He has been on a tear and so much fun to watch. So I'm glad that he's starting to figure it out here, and hopefully he can just keep it going into next season, and hopefully the Jays could work out a contract extension because it's getting more expensive by the day. And will he get 300 million? Maybe if he keeps up this pace, and I'd be okay with it if I was the Blue Jays.
Yeah, he might at this point get 300 million. I also trying to point out here, he has a almost a 500 average in the past month, which is crazy when you look at it, especially because of how down offense has been around baseball the entire year, which is why the OPS plus is skewed in that way a little bit. But he almost hit for the cycle yesterday. He's on a 20 game hitting streak where his on base percentage is almost 600. He has an over 500 average. He's giving Jays fans, and again, we watch the games every night either way, but he's giving Jays fans a reason to tune in just to see if that hitting streak is going to continue to
Yeah.
propel into 20, 30. Who knows at this point? He's so locked in. It feels like a game without him getting a hit is just not going to happen. And it really hasn't in almost a month now because of how locked in he's been. Again, a lot of Jays fans, and I didn't want the Jays to lose it all yesterday. I would have liked to see Vladdy get up there, though. Zach Pop give up a couple more runs and have that happen. But you look at some of like the spray charts here, and there's a lot of different things that have kind of worked out into this. And you compare the spray charts in 2024 and 2021. Shout out to Avery here for Avery Chenier for putting this in. Vladdy's pulling the ball at the lowest rate of his career, which is a bit of an interesting thing, but it doesn't matter. We saw yesterday he had a triple and a double, just absolute rockets the opposite way. Obviously, some players you want to see pull the ball, David Schneider, even Danny Jansen back in his time here, but I don't know. I'm just I'm in awe a little bit. This is the Vladdy we saw back in 2021, arguably a better version. And it's weird to
Yeah.
think about if Vlad would have played like this, and the team that's playing now looks a lot better than the team that was the first however many games of the season. There's a case to be made that if Vladdy would have played like this since the start, and if Bichette would have been healthy the whole year, they could have made a push for the playoff race, but that's not the reality,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Well, Bo had some big expectations coming into the year, and I don't think the front office projected him to have an OPS under 600. So things haven't gone right. But I don't like to see players just mail it in when they're out of the playoff race. And you can see a lot of guys are fighting for their jobs for next season as well. They might not get those. Like I don't know if Davis Schneider is going to earn himself some more playing time with the way that he finishes off the season here. But you like to see guys putting in an effort and still trying to win ball games. They're professionals at the end of the day, and Vladdy has been the ultimate professional. You could just see that he's fully buying into what the Blue Jays are trying to do, and he hasn't let it affect how he's playing on the field. So it's been very impressive to watch. I'm excited that we have this kind of player on our team and we're able to watch him on a nightly basis. He's just box office right now. And a couple of things really stand out to me. It's the lack of strikeouts with Vladdy. So he's not striking out. That graphic that you showed there, he has 22 strikeouts since what was it, June 15th? That's or yeah, June 16th, 22 strikeouts. He's played a lot of games since that time, 193 plate appearances, and he's striking out at such a minimal rate like he is there. And yeah, maybe he's not taking the walks like he used to in his MVP
Doesn't
season,
need
but who
to.
cares? Like, yeah, he doesn't need to. I'd rather him swing the bat and get on base that way. And my favorite thing was seeing Brandon Hyde yesterday, the manager of the Baltimore Orioles, after that triple that Vladdy hit off the right field fence, just have his be up in arms. He had his hat off like this, and he was like, "Oh my God, how do I pitch to this guy?" This is the Baltimore Orioles who need to win baseball games to finish the season. I don't know why they're pitching to Vladdy in that case, but I'll take it. I like to see that entertainment value when Vladdy steps in the box, but he's becoming one of the more feared hitters in baseball again. And that's what we wanted. We wanted him to be that star presence that can carry this Blue Jays lineup. And he's been doing that. 4 RBIs yesterday, 3 extra base hits. You can't pitch to this guy right now. You can't get him out. And that's a great feeling as a Blue Jay fan because that's how it was in 2021 when he was uh, having those crazy numbers at the end of the year, and it's the same thing now. You just can't get him out, and he's making opposing teams crazy, and I love that.
Yeah, it's nice to have a player that can do that at the just like we did in 2021, even though that seems so far away now. But the bigger elephant in the room is the contract. And We'll keep you up to date on what happens with that, and they need to get that done because he wants to stay here and he's the best hitter in baseball over the past 30 or so days. And I think going forward, this is more like what he will be. But that'll wrap it up. Let us know in the comments what your thoughts are on this. And do you think, let us know down below, what do you think Vladdy's hit streak is going to get to before it ends? I'm predicting 31. Peter, any quick prediction before I wrap up?
31.
I'm going hard here.
27.
Okay.
27.
Let us know in the comments what your thoughts are.
I don't
We'll see
think
you
he
tomorrow.
gets to 30.
I don't think so either, but it's my bold prediction. See you tomorrow.